everybody, welcome to Burton Avenue. I'm Angie and I love my cutter. I can show you how to make amazing things with your cutter, like home decor, custom apparel, wood signs, and more. I want you to love your cutter too. Welcome to day 5 of my 25 Days of Craftmas series. In this series, I'm showing you how to make 25 different Christmas projects with your cutting machine. And I'm sharing the SVG files I use to make these projects for free. If you've missed any of the previous days, be sure to check them out. Today, I'm showing how to make this cute frame sign with a Christmas tree countdown. These frame signs are super popular right now, and they can be super expensive. But if you know how to make them yourself, you can save quite a bit of cash. Today I'll show you how easy it is to make it on your own. You need a few supplies like the wood sign, the wood for the frame, nails, a mini grapevine wreath, paint, vinyl, transfer tape, and of course your cutting machine. Let's head over to the computer and get started. The first thing we need to do is grab the SVG file we'll be using for this project. You can get it for free over on my blog at burtonavenue.com. I keep all the SVG files for the projects I make in my free SVG library, and it's available to everyone. Once you're on my site, just click on Free SVG Files and then Free SVG Library. You'll need a password to get into the library, and there are instructions on the screen if you need to get one. Once you're in the library, you can search for the file Days Till Christmas with Tree. It will either be listed under the most recent projects and cut files or under the Christmas category 25 Days of Craftmas 2019 Day 5. So go ahead and click on that link and the file will be downloaded onto your computer. Now when you download files online, they usually come in a zipped folder and you have to extract them before you can use them. To do this, double-click on the zipped folder that we just downloaded and a new window will open. Somewhere on the screen is a button that should say Extract All. Click on that and it will show you the destination where your unzipped files will be saved. Remember this because you'll need to get to it later. Click on Extract and the unzipped files will be saved onto your computer. So let's get into Design Space and start a new project. Now you're going to click on Upload, then Upload Image, and then click Browse. Now you're going to find the SVG file we unzipped earlier. Sometimes the SVG files show as a Chrome HTML document instead. So if you don't see an SVG file listed, look for that. Double-click on the file name and then click Save. Then click the image one more time and click Insert Images. Now the design will appear on your Canvas screen. So I'm going to move it over to the right for a little bit. And now we're going to create a box that is the same size as our wood sign. So we'll go over to Shapes and Square. And then we're going to go up here and unlock the padlock and type in the dimensions of our sign, which is 11¼ inches by 19¼ inches. I'm going to zoom out a little bit so I can see it all. Now I'm going to select my design and resize that to 10¼ inches. I'm going to move it over onto the rectangle, click on Arrange, and Send to Front. Now I'm going to hold down the Shift key and select the rectangle also. Then I'm going to go up to Align and click Center. And that will center my design within the rectangle. The last thing I'm going to do is draw a line down at the bottom of this design to help make placing the design on the wood a little bit easier. So I'm going to draw one more square, and I'm going to change the width of that to the same width as my sign, which is 11 1/4 inches by 1/10 of an inch. And then I'm going to change the color so I can see it. Now I'm going to move this down to the bottom of the rectangle, and then while holding Shift, click on the rectangle, choose Align, center horizontally, and then Align and Align bottom. So once I cut out the vinyl, I know that this line is going to go right at the bottom of my wood sign. And if I put it on there straight, I know that the rest of the design is also straight. So now I can click on the rectangle and delete it. Now I'm going to select the entire design and then right click and choose Attach. Whenever you're working with vinyl, you always need to click Attach before you send the design to be cut. Otherwise, the design will appear all scrambled on your mat. Once everything is attached, click on the green Make It button. Since the design is larger than 11 1/2 inches, we're going to use a larger mat. So click on the green button, select your machine from the drop-down box. Be sure the material is set to vinyl, and then go load your mat. Place your vinyl on the cutting mat and smooth it out. Then load it into your machine by pressing the up-down arrow button. Once the machine is ready, the C button will light up. Press that button and your machine will start cutting. Once the machine has finished cutting, press the up-down arrow button again and the machine will unload the mat. Flip the cutting mat upside down and pull the mat away from the vinyl. Once the vinyl is off the mat, it's time to remove the excess vinyl. To make weeding a little easier, I used a craft knife to slice lines between the rows of numbers. Then I used a weeding tool to pull off all the excess vinyl, including all those little pieces inside of the letters and numbers. Next, it's time to apply the transfer tape. Transfer tape is important when using adhesive vinyl because it keeps your whole design together. So cut a piece of transfer tape a little larger than your design. Roll up your vinyl and place it on the transfer tape and then slowly unroll it as you push it down. Then I use my scraper to firmly press down on the entire design. Then you can trim off the excess vinyl and transfer tape. To make your sign, you'll need one piece of wood that measures about 11 1/4 inches by 19 1/4 inches. You'll also need 4 pieces of wood for the frame, 2 that measure 20 3/4 of an inch and 2 that measure 11 1/4 of an inch. I used pine for the sign and furring strips for the frame. I painted my sign white and stained the frame a dark brown. After the paint and stain have had plenty of time to dry, you can apply the vinyl to the wood sign. Flip the design over and carefully pull off the vinyl backing. Then use that little line at the bottom to help you align your vinyl on the sign. If you line up the line with the bottom of your sign, everything should be straight and centered. Then press the rest of the vinyl down and rub over it firmly with a scraper. Then carefully pull off your transfer tape. Now we're going to add the nails that will hold up our mini wreath. To do this, grab a mini wreath and place it over one of the numbers. Place the nail under the top of the wreath and hammer into place. Remove the wreath and take note of how high above the number you just placed that nail. Then you can repeat this with all the other numbers, using that first number as a positioning guide. Once you've got all the nails in, it's time to attach your frame. I like to place my sign and frame on a piece of wood or something else to raise it off the table. This will make attaching it a little bit easier. So first we're going to attach the top and the bottom pieces of the frame to the sign. You can use a hammer and nails, but it's much easier if you have a brad nailer. Line up the edges of the frame with the edges of the sign and nail into place. Now do the same thing with the two side pieces. Make sure to nail the side of the frame to the top of the frame for extra support. And that's it. Your sign is done. Place your wreath over the first number and start counting down the days till Christmas. So what do you think? Is this something you'd try on your own? Did it look easier than you expected? I sure hope you try it. And I hope you'll join me again tomorrow for another day of Craftmas. See ya!